Americanism, not globalism, will be our credo. Americanism, not globalism. Americanism, not globalism. The era of economic surrender will finally be over. We will no longer surrender this country or its people to the false song of globalism.
They have gotten the political establishment and the media establishment to become pure, wanton henchmen of totalitarianism.
If you were a foreign power looking to weaken America, you couldn't do better than Hillary Clinton's economic agenda.
I think what the Chinese have done is really smart.
The skyscrapers went up in Beijing and many other cities around the world, while the factories and neighborhoods crumbled right here in Detroit.
It's all training us to accept less, lowering expectations, a post-industrial world, a new dark age. That's what the UN Biological Diversity Assessment 1996 calls for.
When we abandoned the policy of America first, we started rebuilding other countries instead of our own.
Not a world, Winston, that gets more beautiful and more technological and stronger. A world that gets uglier and stupider and more stunted.
That the government should allow Hillary Clinton to become president of the United States.
I voted for Hillary Clinton.
Well, I voted for Hillary. I guess I have to since I'm working for her as well.
You want an image of the future, Winston? It's a boot stomping on a human face forever.
Muslims are peaceful and tolerant people and have nothing whatsoever to do with terrorism.
Women are treated, discriminated against in all of these countries she took money against. Gays and lesbians are either executed or punished severely. They're mistreated. She claims to be their champion.
Don't look at me, Winston, and see the black circles around my eyes and see how ugly and weak I am, expressing myself and dying, that I torture people 18 hours a day, that I have a horrible life. That's the beauty of the satanic evil of the priest of power, ripping apart humanity. We're here to hurt humans. We're here to suck your guts out.
We now take you live to the Central Texas Command Center and the heart of the resistance.
Well, he was in the Marine Corps, then a Navy SEAL, a famous Navy SEAL, but we can't say even what group he was in or what he did, because obviously that's not a good thing. Like Trump says, we're not televising or transmitting information here on air like the MSM does. He's also been a top recurring trainer for History Channel's Marksman competition, Top Shot, that's a top show, appearing in all 5 seasons. He's the Vegas local champion for motocross and also voted by Maximum's experts, Maximum Warrior. TacticalInsider.com. Craig Sawyer is here in studio with us just as a quick live plug for what's going to happen tomorrow when he's going to be on in studio with us for an hour. Great to have you here, my friend.
Hey, thank you for having me on, Alex. Pleasure.
It's crazy. Like last week, I was talking to Quentin Carter, and then I was talking to Tim, and I said, you know, the veterans I all talk to are so happy that America is getting better. The jobs are coming back, best numbers since Reagan, but they're so upset about everybody saying, you know, the media killed Trump, all this stuff. It was the veterans that really got people awake during the campaign, but it seems like now there's not a focal point. They're upset, but they're not taking action. And I said, we should just put the call out for veterans to come out and say they support Trump, just so the people see that, you know, Trump's not this Russian agent like all these liars say. And boom, dozens and dozens of famous operators like yourself, you know, amazing folks, they're going to be coming on tomorrow and right through next week, said, we want to come on air. But again, it's not about InfoWars. I don't care what talk show hosts do it or who it is. In fact, I'd rather other people take the lead on this because then the media can't demonize it. We need our veterans. Now America really is fighting for its life. We're starting to win. The enemy knows that. The globalists are coming down with both feet. They admit the whole thing now. We've been absolutely, you know, proven to be on target. Now is the real time for maximum effort. And it's amazing talking to you because I was, you know, we just talked for like an hour in there over lunch, or an hour and a half. And it was just what you were saying was so spot on and just absolutely pertinent. And you were talking about how, well, in your own words, why you're deciding to go public, because you do big Hollywood things, big movies, you're in movies, you train people, you do all sorts of stuff. We all know the system comes after you when you do that. You've done huge programs to try to end poaching in Africa, and you talk about the censorship there, but we don't have some set agenda here other than it's okay to say we support the commander-in-chief, especially when he's delivering, and all these outside globalist forces, the communist Chinese, are openly coming in and saying, we'll deal with these nationalists and Trump. We'll work with Facebook and Google to shut these Americans up. This is outrageous, naked espionage in the classic sense, and these arrogant people are openly acting like you said in the hallway. They're not even worried. They're set up down the street. They're going to bring Trump down. They've got their surrogates saying kill him. They're acting like they're invincible. What do? Well, we raise the alarm. We rally around Trump. I'm stealing your words. So take over and talk to those folks out there watching about where we're at here, Craig.
I don't know about taking over, but
get in there.
Man, I do feel strongly that Trump is carrying the flag for freedom and liberty for us all now. And I realize that, man, he's under fire from all directions. I mean, he's got people literally inside the GOP and the Democrats and big Hollywood. Everybody seems to be attacking and after him. And who is protecting him? Who's rallying around him and saying, hey, this guy represents us. We elected him to defend us and to carry our agenda forward, which is just restore freedom and liberty and prosperity for the United States and restore the strength of our country and the values that we believe in. And it seems that we really, who else is going to do it if not us? The American public and the veterans really just rally. We say close ranks, close in around him and defend him, because he's doing what he ran on. He is carrying out his campaign promises, and that's a great thing. So just because the election is won doesn't mean that the fight is over, because we see that the radical left is now really going overboard, and violently so. And some calls for action on their side, for civil war and murdering the president and all of this. When has that ever been allowed? When has that ever been okay? Had I said anything like that in years past, man, I would have gotten the door kicked down in my house and handcuffed and taken away. So why is it being tolerated now? And I think we just need to restore order in a lawful United States and get on with the business.
Yeah, we don't want to fight all these people. Every major publication basically saying kill Trump. Every day it's a new Hollywood person or a new music person saying kill him. And all I'm saying is, if I said that, I'd be arrested. I didn't want to kill Obama. It turned him into a martyr. I've never called for violence. They're calling for violence against us, against me personally. They put lies out there in the media of what we've said. They don't even show it. But you were pointing out earlier, it's because they're losing, we're winning. But this is when the cornered enemy is the most dangerous. You got into the psychology of why leftists hate prosperity and freedom so much. And so just give people a forte, because you said some really powerful things in our talk, and about why you're standing up and speaking out now. Because what was the term you used? It was basically that this is urgent. You can feel it. You can see it. They're making their move. What was it?
I can't recall exactly. I was just speaking off the top of my head, but I think it's right now are crucial times. This is historical period of time, a lot of change, and it's for the better. This is a beautiful thing in my mind. I see the American people finally standing up and voting in record numbers for what it is that they want, so that our values can be represented in the White House, and that's a very positive thing. So I think we should all be celebrating, and rather than criticizing the president for his imperfections, that we all share. None of us are perfect. So is he carrying out what he promised he would do? Yes. Are those things strengthening our country and representing our wishes? Yes. So then what's the problem? So I don't appreciate all the hostility against him. And so I appreciate that he's there. And I think we need to rally around him and defend him. And I think we need to organize to do that.
We had just met and we were talking, walking into the conference room, and you were just, if you can go back to that moment, not the exact words, but you were just making the point about, I kind of paraphrased them earlier, they're organizing. The Obama's moved in down the street. They say Obama's coming. They're going to overthrow Trump, all this crazy stuff, totally arrogantly against the will of the people, with the MSM and all these foreign governments and the communist Chinese. And you were saying we need to get them to where they're looking over their shoulder, not in a criminal way, but letting them know, hey, we're watching what you're doing. We're aware of you. You're not going to overthrow the president or this country in the dark. It's going to happen right out in the open. I mean, can you repeat your words? Because you were pretty animated.
The subversion. We've got subversives out there literally calling for the overthrow of the lawful president of the United States. Now, I don't know why that's being tolerated right now to any degree. So if we have a long list of actual felons out there, and we do, then where is the DOJ? And I encourage, I hope the DOJ is really going to follow through, because I believe from everything that I'm seeing and hearing from everybody that I know, that the American public is really starved for justice. They've seen major criminals getting away with hostility against the United States, anti-constitution and everything else, not being held to account.
That's right. There's just this lawless orgy of comics and movie stars and music stars saying, kill Trump, kill his supporters, beat him up, and they're beating women up in the street. And we're sitting here taking it. And I get we don't want Trump to look fascist, but they're the ones that are authoritarian. And so all I'm saying is law says if people are organizing to attack and saying they're coming for you and demonizing you, I don't actually know those answers. I don't know, exactly what we're supposed to do, but we should be having the debate about that right now, because I had Michael Savage on today, obviously one of the biggest talk show hosts and best-selling authors in history. And I said, I don't know what to do, Michael, because they're calling for violence against me personally. They're lying. They're saying things I never said. They're attacking the president 100 times what they are me. I'm probably the second most attacked person because I actually, they know I'm promoting Americana. And I said, as a man, fundamentally, I feel like I should be doing something aggressive. I know I'm in the info war, but, at the same time, I don't want to be aggressive. I don't want to be violent. He said, well, let me not mince words. We need to start thinking about that and discussing what we do. And we're not calling for that. But when people are saying, we're going to kill you, we're going to attack you, Snoop Dogg saying, go out, spray cops with bullets, Viacom and MTV's putting it on air. Are there bad cops? Yes. You say just randomly go shoot cops, as has happened hundreds of times the last couple of years as they pump gas or change a tire. This is BS, man. I don't want to hear randomly shoot black people or white people or veterans. This is very aggressive, just hyper evil garbage. And historically, when this stuff starts getting pushed, it means a civil war is coming, and we're in a soft civil war. And a lot of people that think they're tough because they say they're Crips or whatever, say they want a civil war. And I'm just trying to explain to them that they've got real people that actually think about things now, starting to unlock areas of the brain that shouldn't be getting unlocked here in America.
Well, I've always said that the worst thing you could ever hope to do is allow your enemy to shoot at you at their leisure, just to continue to attack and attack without any worry in the world. So I think those who
you said it earlier. You said it's going to encourage more. Go ahead.
Yeah. Other people that are watching criminals attack our president with no ramification, no consequence, are going to be encouraged to join and do the same. We need, as a country, our DOJ needs to go after the criminals and prosecute, and we need to start yanking people out.
By the way, you're not just a former top Navy SEAL. We can't say what you did, obviously, or what group you were in, but I mean, you also have been a law enforcement officer. That's very rare.
It's been 5 years in federal law enforcement. Then I did high threat dignitary protection for the Department of State and other agencies that we don't talk about. So I've kind of got a wide scope of experience throughout the federal government.
Keep going. I'm breaking in here, but coming up tomorrow, we're going to break it all down.
Yeah. No, but back to the attack thing. You can't allow your enemies to attack you at will, at their leisure. You can't allow them to snipe you from their comfy, sofa, so to speak. Yeah. Why are the criminals not being yanked out of their limousines and their mansions and their fancy office buildings and prosecuted for felonies that they are actually guilty of? We all are watching it. So
we know Loretta Lynch and Clinton on the plane and all the corruption and the looting of Fannie and Freddie Mae and funding ISIS and and they seem so arrogant, like they're still in power. He's moved in as he's still president and says he's going to overthrow Trump. I mean, what? Yeah. That is some arrogant crap.
Yeah, try that in any other country and see what happens. So we need to be no different. We need to get back to a lawful, peaceful nation and
that's right.
Get on
we
with
voted, we did this,
country.
And a bunch of crooks are telling us we don't matter.
Right.
Plus, it wouldn't be so bad if he kind of was being half-assed and sold us out. The best job numbers since 1984 at the Reagan recovery peak in 50 days. That was the numbers Friday. The best. It's actually insane how good it is. The $3 trillion plus in the stock market, best ever. 400 billion in new jobs announced being deployed. The whole world going, sure, America's home for business. We're coming back. The Chinese, the Japanese, the Germans, everybody's moving here. Their jobs. So it's crazy that he's delivering and they still hate him.
My concern is that the American public has been conditioned to freak out over words and ignore action. Actions speak louder than words. They always have, and they always will. So why is our public only concerned about the words that they hear and not watching the actions? I say, look at the results.
My dad's dad always told him, I don't want to hear words, I want to see action.
Yeah, 100%. So what tangent have we gotten off? What goat trail have we gotten off to where we're freaking out over words and missing the far more important actions and results?
I'm so used to corruption and presidents not delivering that it's actually, when I'm actually reading the documents and the numbers, I'm like, this is so good. I can't even believe this. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah. There's no reason why every American should not be jumping up and down and screaming, heck yeah, right now. So it's surreal to watch people upset. And when you see someone like, well, I won't mention any names, but there are reporters on the streets asking people the microphone, what do you think about this, that, and the other thing that you're protesting about? They don't even understand. They don't.
No, say the names of the other reporters. They're outside groups. They're great.
Well, Waters. I love Waters from, he's on the O'Reilly show on Fox. Waters World, man, he goes out there and just asks people, hey, what are you upset about? And they can't even articulate why they believe that way.
That's
and
the scariest
I think
part.
He tears away the facade of all this supposed anger and resistance. They're paid, most of them.
That's
and
my
the
next
other ones
point.
are just they've heard through the media, and they're just regurgitating false rhetoric.
George Soros spent, I don't want to get this wrong, it came out in Associated Press even this week. It was $263 million. Let's Google that. On the one women's march that I saw the day after Trump got inaugurated, because I was flying out that afternoon, and I saw it. I was there. They were spitting on us, cussing, freaking out, putting hijabs on, screaming Allah Akbar. They weren't even Muslims. And I was sitting there watching this saying, and I knew George Soros was funding it. $260+ million. Just type in Soros funded women's march, guys. It'll come up. There it is. Was my memory right? I said 260. I said, okay, 246. See, that's my memory gets stuff wrong. Day Without Women supporters got $246 million from Soros. So, I mean, this is just crazy by some weird Nazi collaborator. So what we're saying here today, and tomorrow is the big launch of this. Q and other folks like Tim Reams helped us launch it, but this is the big launch tomorrow. InfoWars is going to put up a page. The email is trumpsupport@infowars.com. We just worked this out with Q at lunch. Send in your photo, send in your video, send in the side of your barn, Veterans for Trump. And it's not just veterans, it's citizens as well. And it's not that he isn't winning. His approval ratings are up. People are starting to figure out what's happening, but they're trying to kill him. So we have to make sure the idea of an American president actually doing what he said, not perfect, but being for the country, is back. And it's happening all over the world. Nationalism's rising. And so folks like Mr. Sawyer, people like Quentin Carter, all the other veterans we're going to have on the show, but you as citizens especially, just know the media says they speak for the veterans all day while they screw them over to everybody else. We need the veterans to understand. We're not saying you haven't done your job. You've done a great job. People respect you. They listen to you. They need to hear from you, whether you call in on C-SPAN or whether you run for city council or whether you go speak at city council or whether you knock on doors around your neighborhood or whatever it is. Let folks know that you support the president, because the full backing of the foreign banks, the full backing of this whole system is trying to say he's not legitimate and trying to move for his impeachment and his destruction. And it's because he has delivered so much, we want to back him. And again, Trump can't call for this. He needs to look strong. He is strong, but he's surrounded by rhinos, fake conservatives. He's surrounded by moles. Even Dan Bongino, former head of the Foreign Secret Service detail, said a 40-man attack team could go into that White House. It's totally insecure. It's wiretapped. All of this crap. All I'm saying is this is a champion, a lion surrounded by wolves and hyenas. And so the president needs our support, whether it's prayers, whatever it is. Now's the time to speak out against the hordes of George Soros scum. I'm ranting, but make some comments on that.
Well, he needs our support. He's a strong guy, and he's successful at what he's been doing in the business world. And now he's gotten disgusted at what's been going on in D.C., and he's put himself into the White House to help us. So, like I said, the fight's not over. I mean, he's in there on our behalf. So the least we could do is beat away those that are just ravenously attacking him with no real good reason.
We'll do the full interview tomorrow, but I appreciate you coming on live and coming to Austin. Obviously, they try to intimidate veterans, especially the more prestigious veterans, because you guys have a lot of gravitas with the people. But it seems like every war hero we know of, and of course most folks aren't known because you guys are the quiet professionals, both in the Navy but also the Army, people just have no idea what's going on for this country. And some of the wars aren't perfect. A lot of them are bad. The point is the vets go because they signed up to defend the country. It's the politicians' fault or their credit, whether it's right or wrong. But I just see, because I don't claim to be Mr. Tough Guy or anything, but I go and I see the South by Southwest zombies. There's even a Verge article, all looking at their own phones, in their own world, getting ripped off, by these trendy scams. And it literally scares me. Their weakness doesn't make me feel strong. Globalists admit they want weak people to control them. I see hordes of weak people, and there's the spectrum of really strong, honorable people versus, brain dead zombies. And I don't want to be towards that other end, but I want to get them out of it. So I know that's also something, when you wrote me this, I said, what are some of the points you want to get to on air when I'd asked you to come on? And it was just right out of my own, research, your own research. We're not plagiarizing each other. It's prima facie. It's on its face. It's what we see, Craig Sawyer, again, a veteran Navy SEAL here joining us. So it just seems like an attempt to rescue humanity. It's not we're trying to be heroes. We live here. We have kids here. And we can see this split in society. Just a rant for 5 minutes, we'll end.
Well, divided we fall. You know, I always say, whenever I put out anything that is about the country, I try to end it with "United we stand," because tactically speaking, that's a universal truth. If you want to conquer an enemy, you first divide them, and it makes it easier. So, as Americans, we better get on one sheet of music so that we can maintain our empowerment and freedom and liberty here. So. It's just a matter of time before people see the results, I believe, that President Trump is after and wanting to restore for us, to where more people start to get it. But meanwhile, those of us that do get it and see what he's doing, I think we just better circle around him and help best we can.
And let's be clear, the West is where open, free societies and women's rights started. I don't hate somebody because they're gay or because they're Muslim or whatever it is, but the globalists use our openness to control us. You know, the crew can Google this. You've got communist China that's killed over 100 million of its own people, the most authoritarian, evil culture on earth. The media spins that I'm anti-Asian. No, I'm anti-corrupt Asians like Kim Jong-un in North Korea or the president of China oppressing their people. China has basically banned Muslims. China says Muslims are the #1 threat because Muslim groups, not the Orthodox Muslims, they come in, they try to take over. That's what Islam does. You have the House of Islam, the House of War outside of it. Just a fact. So it doesn't work the way the leftists say. So they've banned Muslims. Document cam shot inside China. No more prayer times. China banned schools and parents in Muslim province spreading religion. It's beyond that. They execute you. I'm not saying do that. I don't agree with that. But why do we love China, who's taking over our media and control? I'm about to hit the point. They've also banned homosexuality. They execute you if you're gay in China. The left doesn't care. Zuckerberg says, look, I'm censoring America. Let me into China. So does Google. What is China, who is the #1 group manipulating this country right now, the Communist Chinese, what do they promote? All the things they've banned there. Because they know that our free open society is being used to take us down. And that's just a fact. And Communist China, with a bunch of global elitists, has allied itself with the leverage and the labor it's got and the economic control to bring this country down. They got Carter to get over the Panama Canal, all our deep water ports, basically. We have literally, folks, in economic war, been almost destroyed. And finally, the intelligence agencies woke up. They got Trump to run. The people got behind it. There's nationalist movements everywhere. Because I always say intelligence agencies are corrupt. They do some bad things. They live in the real world. But at the end of the day, they realized suicide of the country and the end of prosperity was a bad idea. So some did it for mercenary reasons. Others did it because it was the right thing to do. But it's so clear now how dire our straits are. And that's why we have a beachhead. We're starting to turn the tide, but the enemy is all pissed off coming at us, trying to stop it. You, the American people, don't care what color you are or where you're from. If you're a Muslim that wants to live in a free country and let people live in peace, that's great. Then don't go to a basketball game and say ban the American flag like they did this week because it hurts your feelings. You see, come together if you really want to live in a free society. Because why the hell are you fleeing all these countries and you get here and you want to make it just like the one you came from? See, that's the point I'm getting at. And so there's a war right now. And so it's not just the citizens, it's not just the whole culture, it's just veterans particularly, because folks respect you and listen to you. They just want to use your name and have you just go back to sleep. Now's the real fight. Now's when it's happening. I'm ranting, but, Craig, great points. Any other things you want to make?
Nothing off the top of my head. I think we got a good day coming, though, tomorrow.
And again, you're not going to save the world. I'm not going to save the world. Veterans that hold up a sign saying, I'm Trump, or I support America being great again, and tweeting it or Facebooking it against their, we're going to post it on our site and promote it. Just send what you do to our link there at Trump support at Infowars.com. But what will save us is all of us doing that thing, all of us getting off the couch and taking action. That's what they're scared of. It's why they try to demoralize us.
True.
In closing, tacticalinsider.com. I mean, going over your whole bio here, of course, I've seen you on TV. I'm not even a TV guy. I know you train a lot of the Hollywood folks and all the rest of it for their movies to make it more realistic. You found a Tactical Insider to provide tactical training and tactical advice to films, actors, and corporate clients. Now, you've also contributed to news shows like Fox News and CBS Evening News, Katie Couric. He's also been a frequent contributor to the History Channel's show Sniper, Deadliest Missions. Since 2010, you've, of course, been one of the main host on History Channel's Marksman Competition Top Shot, just looking and closing at Hollywood and the whole culture. When I talk to folks in Hollywood, most of them aren't liberal or conservative. They're like Kurt Russell. They're just, I want America. I want freedom. I don't want to have to be, a liberal to have a job in Hollywood, but there's this real intimidation. So let's just say it. Your bread and butter is making movies more realistic. So you're a hero yet again for your country, here for the homeland in the info war, sticking your neck out. So if you can do it, knowing they might try to come after you for it, I'm sure you thought about that before you came here, other people should do it as well, because if we just live in fear, we lose it all.
Yeah, well, I believe in speaking the truth, and I've had people say, "Aren't you concerned about losing work because you're daring to stand up and speak the truth, which may not be popular with this group or that?" Well, I'm not afraid, and that's just how I'm wired. I'm not afraid. I think if we're all afraid to speak the truth, then we're all going to live a lesser life. And so I believe in standing up and speaking the truth and speaking my mind. And I want positive things for American citizens, and I've defended them with my very life in the military, and I defend them every way that I can. And I think arming the American citizens with the truth is all of our duty. Is the best we can ascertain the truth. We should share that with each other. So I think just the way we want our kids to be empowered with capability and knowledge, those of us that have been privy to inside the government and different things on how it works and the oppression that's happened globally across throughout the last few decades and really the last 100 years, I have the responsibility to share that with other people so that people are empowered with the best life that they can have. And it's just really, it boils down to freedom and not allowing themselves to be compromised under the oppression of big government, because worldwide, man, I've seen the victims of communism and socialism all over the place and seen the hardships and the turmoil. And I don't want that for the American citizens. A lot of people are voting for their own disempowerment, and that's disturbing to me. When I ask them why, they don't even know.
And I almost want to keep going because you made all these great points. Who knows what will happen tomorrow? But you crystallized. I said, why do these people know Venezuela's collapsing? They're literally cannibalizing everything right now. Cuba's horrible. Every other communist thing's horrible. North Korea, China, all of it. What is it? And you said they've been abused. And I started thinking back. I've never realized that. I already knew it. They all admit they've been abused or something bad happened. So they give up on life and decide to join to just be haters of success. You crystallized that. How did you describe that?
Well, I grew up, my father was a very sincere and devout pastor of a church. So I grew up, playing in the living room and hearing all of these people come to my father for help. Their lives were shattered, and he was trying to help them, and he made a tremendous impact on their lives. But I heard all of their stories, and it seems like so many of them who were just bitter and just out to just have revenge against everything that's wholesome and productive and effective, or have been abused as children. They've, bless their hearts, man, their lives were shattered, and their security and safety was shattered.
Those of us that had good parents, they just don't know how blessed we were.
I did not understand what I had until I saw that so many others didn't, and it breaks my heart. But it allows me to understand why they're angry against that which is effective and wholesome and good and decent. Why would they hate the family unit and loving mother and father? What's wrong with that? Unless you're bitter and twisted and you've been abused.
It's like they say, don't use the word mother or father in the high school and middle school and elementary entrance exams nationwide or the paperwork. Someone might not have a mother and father. Don't say it. They want to disenfranchise us because they were victimized, but it's the controllers above them manipulating it. Who comes up with this?
Yeah, it's not right. It's not right. So our society is growing sick. The more it leans to the left and subscribes to this bitter and twisted outlook which is not wholesome. It's not effective. It's weakening our country. Yeah.
And then you made the other point, and I remember reading the news articles now that I remember it. You were just talking about how you dealt with bullies and corruption in the government. And I didn't realize, you don't want to take credit. You said, don't even get into those scenarios, but I just can't help it. You were involved triggering the whole thing that came out in Arizona that started the VA investigation. You were saying everybody else after you did it, you didn't want me to talk about it on air. So I don't normally do this when I say I won't get into it. I didn't say I wouldn't get into it, but you're like, well, let's not get into it. Let's just talk about the story. But it's the taking action of the bullies. Everybody else would kiss the ass of the higher ups, but you got the ball rolling that then caused the whole VA investigation.
Well, there are two different agencies that I had blown the whistle on, and in both cases, I had seen that those who abuse their authority are not the strong, but the weak. The weak abuse their authority against their subordinates, and it's the strong who use their empowerment and their authority to give people a hand up and help and train and empower those below them and try to replicate themselves in all of their subordinates and lift them up. So I learned that those who are trying to be scary and abuse their authority against everyone below them are the weak, and I'm not afraid of them. And I realize those are the people that need to be replaced.
Well, I know one thing, buddy. You need a radio talk show. No, I'm serious. I mean, I know you're a busy guy, and even do it all the time. We're going to launch more shows soon. Not that I even want to. It's just I've got to do it. Because it's this thing. I know how, I mean, it's not like I'm even a good guy. I'm not perfect. But I realize how bad the globalists are and how greedy and evil. We have to beat them. It's guaranteed. It's like a fight. You just can't let this guy win. He's a jerk. He attacked you. We've got to get more people on air, commentators, whatever, pop in once a week, once a day, whatever, anywhere, you know, out there, shoot a video, it's uploaded. I want to get like 100 great commentators like yourself with kind of traffic cops like Matt Weber in there, who's a really smart guy, and, you know, Nico and, you know, Ali or whoever the crew. I imagine a talk show no one's ever done, almost like Washington Journal. But it's like some calls, some news, and these great commentators that pop in with their analysis and rant and then move on. Because I kind of revolutionized, not bragging, but I'm saying we've done this before about radio versus TV. We started that 16 years ago. A bunch of ideas we've got. And I'm telling you, I hope you're a big part of it because, you know, it's like, you know, Tonto, who's coming on in a couple days, great guy, obviously, one of the main heroes of the whole, you know, debacle that happened there in Benghazi. He's like, yeah, I want to come on. I haven't heard from you in a while. Like, he's busy. We've been trying to get a hold of him. But he's like, I want to come on every week. You know what? I'm going to offer that guy once a week coming on his own 30 minutes. Just pop on, Skype, talk. And it's like, will he save the world? Will Craig Sawyer save the world? No, but all of us as an action, speaking up at the PTA or wherever, good people standing up and speaking out will become the leaders. People are looking for it. So if you could lead in the most brutal situations, you know, in history, you can lead just speaking out now. And that's all I'm saying is we're not saying veterans do more. We're not saying you haven't done your job. You're the folks that stood up and cared. So you're who we need now. You're who the globalists fear. Oh, Trump just killed this with executive order last month where they said the veterans are the #1 terror threat. He said they're not even on the damn list statistically. Take them off. It's Islamic terrorists and, you know, cults. And they took the veterans off the list. Well, of course, the demons that were running our government said the veterans were who they weren't trusting. Because those cowards up there fear people that have conviction and will and who they've been using for their own aims. So that's where I'm standing.
United we stand.
Glad we fall.
Unity is what really empowers us all to save the day for our country.
And we got to unify. I mean, it's so clear. TacticalInsider.com. Craig Sawyer, thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Alex.
You probably get attacked for coming on, but we appreciate it. And you're being on tomorrow for a whole hour plus.
Absolutely. I'll be here.
All right. Thank you. I want to thank the crew here. We got nightly news coming up 7 o'clock Central. But by the way, I'm not bitching, but everybody knows it. Paul came on today. He said almost everything he does is being blocked by Facebook now. You were saying yours is down 90%.
Yeah.
And you're just trying to help veterans and, you know, other stuff. I mean, it's crazy, folks. They're shutting everybody down. It's okay. We have our own platforms, but work harder to get it out. Every person you reach with these videos and articles is a big win. So personally share this video on your own personal email, whatever it takes. Don't let them win. Bring the neighbors over tonight. Show them this video and join us tomorrow and spread the word. I'm Alex Jones signing off. We'll see you tonight, 7 o'clock Central, and tomorrow, 11 a.m.
We are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people. Americanism, not globalism, will be our credo.
This is the heart of 1776.
Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
Huge nationwide protests erupted once again on President Donald Trump's second weekend in office.
When you open your heart to patriotism, there is no room for prejudice. When America is united, America is totally unstoppable.
Donald J. Trump is now President of the United States.
And most importantly, we will be protected by God.
From the front lines of the info war, it's Alex Jones.
No!
Oh my goodness, poor white people. Please, oh my, stop.